We're back. It's been a minute. First day of school here.
Mm-hmm.
The house is a little quieter right now.
Our baby is a senior now.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of scary to think about that.
Not scary. It's just where does the time go?
Yeah.
Okay, should we jump right in? What do you want to talk about?
So, hot topic always,
Okay.
no matter the time of year, in season, off season, anytime I bring this topic up on social media, there's a lot of people that agree, and there's a lot of people that lose their mind and really do not like me for my feelings on it.
They do not agree.
No, they don't. And it's interesting to me how passionate of a topic this is. Like, I guess it's interesting, but it shouldn't be surprising just because it's youth sports and you're talking about adults and kids and there's always money involved. So there's always a lot of passion flowing around and
A lot of feelings.
And I know that for me, I have to constantly remind myself that my experience in the game as a player, a coach, and as a parent has just been different than most. And
Yes.
so I have to remind myself that sometimes that when I hear some of the stuff they say, I have to keep things in perspective without getting into my own feelings too much. Because it's easy, especially on social media when you're behind a computer screen or behind your phone. And it's very easy to type things and say things that you wouldn't if you're face to face with somebody.
Yeah, just impulsively and emotionally react.
Yeah. Keyboard warriors, keyboard courage, whatever you want to call it. It's interesting. I mean, on this topic alone, we haven't said it yet, but it's going to be about coaches calling pitches from the dugout. On this topic alone, I have lost many followers over the years.
Yeah.
Because of just how I feel about it. Like people, they literally will stop listening to everything just because of this one topic.
It's just their breaking point.
Yeah,
Well,
which again is crazy.
Maybe they think if we don't agree on this, we're not going to agree on a lot of other stuff.
Why would your breaking point be how I feel about teaching kids to call their own pitches?
Maybe because it points out that they're wrong in their thinking, and a lot of people just cannot be wrong or mistaken or whatever.
I don't know if saying it's wrong is the right.
But like that's how they're taking it. You're saying to them, well, you're wrong if you call pitches, and that's that.
I know that when I first started talking about this topic, I did feel that way. I felt like anybody who's calling pitches, like they're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten into it and, I've kind of listened to other people's who do call pitches, read some of their thoughts on why they do it. I understand a little bit more why some of them do, but on the flip side, and we'll get into it here, there's some of the coaches out there that do call pitches like it's my way or no way type stuff. They're not teaching the game. They call themselves coaches. They say they're using it for development, but then they don't ever allow the kids to do it on their own, which you're not doing what you're saying you're doing. If you say that you're using this tactic to help kids learn the game, but you never give them the opportunity to apply what you're teaching them, you're not doing what you're saying you're doing.
You're just telling them what to do.
You're just telling them what to do all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, again, very passionate topic and a topic I love. I mean, I don't ever recall ever having a coach call my pitches for me. Maybe when I was younger and I just don't remember it. But from the moment I graduated high school and the last almost 20 years in professional baseball, and it was all development. Like we were forced to learn to play the game.
It's funny with how much like youth sports seems to be professionalized. You would think that the coaches would want to run their teams and handle their players the way the professionals do.
The hard part about
They've got all the swag and all the drip and they do all the things, but
the hard part about it is in college baseball, almost all, not all. There's people that think that literally every college program calls pitches from the dugout and not all do. Arkansas is probably the biggest one that doesn't. There's a couple other big ones, but a lot of smaller schools don't. But these coaches, they see college coaches do it. So they think that that's the way it should be done. And there's also a lot of people that think now there's, now they go off of PitchCom and all this stuff. It's all radio. But in the past, there are people that thought that every time a catcher looked to the dugout, they were looking for a pitch call and that it was never them looking for a pitch call. They're looking for if the coach is going to suggest a pickoff or suggest a pitch out, something like that. They weren't looking to the dugout for pitch calls, which is a lot of people that I've had people comment on when I write about this saying that all major league teams and all college teams call pitches. So why don't we for kids? And I'm like, there's just a lot of mistaken thoughts on.
That's what I mean. It's a mistake. The person's wrong, however you want to phrase it. And just a lot of people cannot deal with the fact that their belief is incorrect or again, they're mistaken. Like to me, 4 super powerful words in the English language are, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Like, just be open to learning something new, a different way. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
It really isn't. That's the thing.
Just being wrong about something isn't that big of a deal.
I think is my first point on here. It speaks to that. But there's a lot of people that compare baseball to football, and they're different sports.
Yeah.
Like as a pitcher, I'm on the mound. I know what I'm feeling. I know what I'm if I've been trained, I know what I'm looking for. I know what's working. I know what's not working. I know what's feeling right. And, it's not, football is a very different sport than baseball is.
I feel like, so I don't know that much about football. I don't know anything about football, but it seems like as we talk about this stuff, baseball players, not just pitchers, are very observant people.
Well, we're supposed to be. That's how we're...
Okay, so I don't know if, like, maybe that goes over a lot of people's heads, because I'm just kind of coming to that realization that, like, even in the dugout, leaning on the fence, on the steps or whatever, like, you guys are always watching. You're not just watching the game as a spectator. You're observing, which to me is different than watching. Yeah. You're observing. And I would imagine football players have to be observant, but maybe in a little bit of a different way.
And quarterbacks, obviously, they can call audibles if they see something, especially if it's probably a veteran and they have proven themselves. But again, they're just different sports. You end up with a lot of people that love football. There are football players that end up coming over to coach baseball, and they try to coach baseball the same.
Use the same approach. Okay, let's get into it.
Okay.
We've got 10 reasons why I wouldn't call pitches. Now, when did you post this or write this?
I wrote this actually probably about a month ago. I've been wanting to write it for a long time, but I finally wrote it about a month ago.
Okay, so at the top of this, so it's a Facebook post?
Okay. It's on our website now.
Okay, yeah. There's a disclaimer.
Yes.
So the disclaimer reads, the points below are just my thoughts and approach. I'm not telling others how they should coach. Maybe some of those ideas will help or spark conversation. You do you. That's your stance.
Yeah, because again, when I talk about this topic on social media, there's people that think I'm attacking them.
So is this a hill that you would die on?
I mean, not die on. Like, I say this on social media, like, you do you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look at you differently because you insist that you need to call pitches.
You're providing information and education and perspective from a very unique point of view that not a lot of people have because of your experience.
Yeah. If someone wants to call pitches, by all means, if you feel that's your best approach to coaching, you do you.
Right.
This is me I wouldn't. I was a college pitching coach for a couple of years. When the head coach wanted to hire me, I told him, I'm not going to be a part of a program that we call pitches from the dugout.
Okay.
And he said, okay. And for the time I was there, our pitchers and catchers did great. I mean, you're literally letting them play the game and teaching them how to play the game, even at that level. Like, it's not rocket science either. Like, there's a lot of people that think that.
I think you say that in this first point.
Yeah, it's not. It really isn't. And we, as coaches, we tend to really overthink a lot of things. And pitch calling is 100% one of those things.
Okay, so let's go down the list because we're starting to get into some of these bullet points here.
Okay.
First is, it's not that serious.
Okay, so first, it's youth sports.
Yeah.
Youth sports in general are not that serious.
It shouldn't be that serious. It shouldn't be,
but again, the adults way overdo it when it comes to some things. And again, when it comes to this topic, calling pitchers from the dugout, in my opinion, other people have other opinions. In my opinion, it's an overcoached part of the game.
Okay.
We can teach them, trying to not to get into some of the other bullet points here. We can teach, our job is to teach them how to play the game. And from there, we need to be better. In my opinion, we need to be a lot better at just letting them play the game and not feel like we have to control every little piece of the game.
Like, keep them focused, keep them dialed in on task. Yeah. Like, I guess I'm talking about like in practices and stuff and during the games. But doing that, keeping them on point doesn't mean micromanaging,
Micromanaging happens a lot. That's a perfect phrase for it. On this point that it's not that serious, I played a lot of youth baseball. I played high school baseball. I played professionally for a long time. I remember very little of those outcomes. Very few of those outcomes do I actually remember who won or lost.
Yeah.
Especially as a young one. I don't remember any of it.
Right.
My fondest memories are of me and my dad practicing together.
Well, and there's not tons of pictures and video and social media posts. There's not even a lot of like documentation or whatever the word is to go back and look at how you played as a little leaguer, let's say. Like, there's just not.
But even now, for the families that are playing now, and they do have a camera on their phone. They do have social media, so they post the stuff for memories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The memory is going to be that they won a tournament, but they literally will not remember what happened during that tournament.
Yeah.
They won't remember what the scores are unless they took a picture of the scoreboard.
Mm-hmm.
They may be able to go back and look on something like Game Changer. But the point is that the outcome of these games in the long run is not that serious.
It doesn't carry over.
It's all the stuff that the kids are learning, the habits they're developing.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is what, honestly, really all that matters.
So like in here, you have, lessons to be learned through pitch selection, observation, situational awareness, making mistakes, getting a big strikeout in a clutch moment, experimenting. There's like a few others. So, I mean, it isn't that serious, but there's so many other little nuggets that they're learning through that.
The process of teaching them the game and them learning how to play the game and then being out there in the moment and applying what they're learning, that's the serious part. The outcome is not that serious.
Yeah.
I promise.
Maybe people mistake the outcome as like proof that they learned.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
It's emotions.
That they executed or whatever.
Yeah. It's emotions. Like there's parents that, their kids might be on a team that isn't winning tournaments. So they feel that that tournament was a loss or that season was a loss because we didn't win many tournaments. It doesn't matter.
I can't even remember who won or lost the first set sometimes in some of Brooke's volleyball games.
Yeah. Even you look at Brookie's, volleyball life, she hasn't done it for that long. She is on year 6, I guess, but we don't remember any of the wins and losses, like the specific games. In the end, we may be able to go back and look and find a season record, but the games themselves, the hits, the sets, we don't remember those.
Number 2, there's always more than one good option.
As a pitcher, I had 5 different pitches: fastball, curveball, slider, cutter, and a changeup. In any count, any situation, no matter the inning, the score, where the runners are, what my last pitch was, there might be some pitches that might be better options or better choices. You may think that a better pitch is the right call in this situation, and I may think that something else is, but they both might be right. There are always more than one option, and it will always come down to how we threw the pitch and where we threw the pitch, right? If I'm trying to throw an 0-2 curveball in the dirt and I leave it up over the plate and it gets hit for a hit, it wasn't the wrong pitch.
You've said this in a previous episode before, and as a non-baseball person, amateur, to me, that was kind of like a mind-blowing, like, that makes sense. It isn't the wrong, quote unquote, pitch. It's just that it wasn't executed.
Yeah.
To me, that was like, I mean.
And I think it's one of the later bullets here, but I'm going to say it anyways.
Okay.
We naturally, parents, players, coaches, everybody, when we give up a hit in a big situation, right? We won't really always think it in a different situation that's not as big, but in a big situation, often we will think like, man, I should have thrown something else.
And there goes that self-protection.
Yep.
Yeah.
What the reality is that it probably wasn't a wrong pitch or a bad pitch to throw. We just did not execute the pitch. And I know that for me in my career, when I finally understood that and recognized that, I don't know why, but like things changed. I've stopped second guessing and doubting everything. And I just became solely focused on whatever I'm going to throw here. I got to throw it where I need to. And that's it. And if I leave it up too much and it gets hit, I chalk it up, I swallow my pride, let's go on to the next pitch.
Yeah.
But all that second guessing, we all of a sudden, now we're second guessing everything. It creates so much doubt, and we have to get better at understanding that there's not always just one way to play the game. And in this situation, there's always more than just one pitch to throw that will work.
I like that point. Okay, 3rd on the list, focus on pitch execution before second guessing pitch selection. So that's kind of what we were talking about. Just move on to number 4. Belief and conviction is king, which I think you just started to touch on.
So I will go back to an 0-2 curveball. If I'm feeling the curveball in the dirt in this count, in this situation, but my coach is calling a high fastball, right? If I feel more belief and trust that I can execute that curveball in the dirt right here, but I have a coach that says, you're throwing what I want you to throw no matter what, which is baffling how often this happens. And I am not all in on that pitch.
Yeah.
My chances of getting it in the right spot go way down. So again, is a fastball up a good pitch to throw? Sure. Is a curveball in the dirt a good pitch to throw?
If you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's in that moment, what is that pitcher feeling? What is he believe in most in that moment, whatever a pitch that is, he's going to have the best chance at executing that pitch.
Yeah.
Not throwing something with a little bit of doubt, like, maybe I should throw this or maybe I should throw that, but coach wants me to throw this, so I'll throw that, right? And then out there in social media, there's people say, well, the players need to learn to trust their coaches and just go with whatever.
Well, to me, that the flip side of that is those coaches need to learn how to trust their players.
Yeah, and not many do. That's the brutal truth.
I mean, if you're going to talk about players trusting their coaches, it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to trust each other. And if you're a coach and you're not trusting your players, I feel like you're kind of doomed.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of players give coaches a lot of reasons to not trust them. You know, whether it's...
But I mean, outside of being a kid.
Yeah, it goes both ways. And I think one of the hardest parts, too, of this type of stuff is as these kids get older, and they start becoming more mature and they start seeing the world a little bit differently. When they find themselves in a situation where they have like a high school coach or a college coach that is, dictating, you're going to do what I say no matter what, the players start seeing through that. Mm-hmm. And now that you get in this situation where, and it's not always this way, some players will be like, yeah, do it for me, I don't care. But then you might come across a kid that they love that part of the game and they might be a better competitor when they get to think. Whereas a lot of coaches say that they do this so the players don't have to think.
But then you're not really focused on, like, to me, that would mean you're either on autopilot, not thinking, or you're just waiting. You're literally not thinking and you're just waiting for someone to tell you what to do and how to do it.
And the truth is there's some players that are like that. There are some pitchers and catchers that are like that. Not often, especially the higher you go, but there are kids who they will play the game better like that. But I think if you're in a situation where that is what those kids need, then maybe, and this is some stuff I've learned from conversing with people about it, maybe those are situations where it is better for the team and for those players where you do help them. But if you come across a situation where you have a catcher that is really smart, has great IQ of the game, you have a pitcher up there that is all in, locked in, and they have, through conversation or through giving them opportunity, you realize like, man, these kids have a good feel for what they do. Let them play the game. In those situations, for me, this is youth baseball. It's not serious. It's not life or death.
Yeah.
Let them play the game and let them enjoy it. And if they throw what you feel may have been the wrong pitch, it might not have been, but what you feel is wrong pitch, talk about it. Mm-hmm. I played this game for long enough and thrown enough pitches in my life to know that, man, it's never what one person thinks that someone should throw. That is the only thing that will work.
Right. Well, then we get into, we want thinkers develop game awareness and IQ, which.
So in life, we want our children, we want the kids we're teaching, we want them to use their heads. We want them to think. We want their minds to be on, not off. We want them to learn awareness of what's going on in the field. But then we take something like this, which is such a great way to teach awareness. And we say, hey, you're not ready for this. Let me do it for you. That's what coaches do. They say, I'm going to do it for it to take the pressure off of them. So in life is full of pressure.
Right.
Let's use the game to help them develop that and teach them how to be observant, how to, in a high pressure situation, do what they feel they believe in, and let them have success. And if they fail, they got to learn from that too.
It's almost like when, little so-and-so is learning how to ride a bike. Like, of course, they start with like the balance bike, and then you go to training wheels, and then you take the training wheels off. And then at some point you have to let go of the seat and let them wobble a little bit so they can get a feel for what they're doing. And sure, they'll probably fall and probably, skin their knee or whatever, but you got to let go at some point.
Well, I've had people ask me like, at what age or what level should you start letting them call pitches? For me, I'm letting them do it for day one. Like, we're going to have these conversations literally from day one. I mean, when these kids start.
Like, you go through T-ball, it's sitting there on the tee. You go through coach pitch when the coach is trying to hit the bat.
But I'm saying for the first year they start pitching is around 9 years old.
So kid pitch.
8 or 9.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to teach them what to do. But we're going to talk to the catcher about, hey, where do you want to set up maybe? At that age, the catchers are probably going to sit middle. Like, pitchers don't really have enough control to pitch corners, and they won't probably for a couple years.
The directions to me are very broad. Like, you're not getting into any details. You're not that many details. No. You're not getting into any kind of weeds of the position. It's really just
And there's situations out there where first year kid pitch, we have coaches calling pitches from the dugout. They're literally calling a fastball every pitch, and the catcher's sitting down the middle. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why you would call pitches And there's even some of these kids that are working on changes, but the coaches still won't call changeups. They're gonna give a fastball sign every pitch. Like, you're telling me you can't teach the kids what to do?
Why even call it then?
I know.
Like, why if that's going to be okay, we're throwing fastballs. Like, we're just going to.
That's a question for them. And one that again, as I dig into this topic and I talk to a lot of people out there, some of the stuff that people come back with, I'm just like, it doesn't make sense to me. It makes sense to them, obviously, why they're doing it. But from the outside looking in, if we're first year, second year, even third year kid pitch, and these kids are throwing 1, maybe 2 pitches, why are we calling pitches for them? Like, why do we not let them do it? There's some kids that they're not even giving signs. Like, giving signs, catcher giving pitch signs is a part of teaching kids the game. Yeah. And now we end up with kids that are 11, 12 years old, which is, again, baffling, that haven't even been taught how to give signs.
I remember when I was little, I don't remember how old, but I was out with my brother and his friends, and we decided to, somebody grabbed a bat, somebody had a ball, and I was hitting. And I don't remember who was pitching or catching, but they were doing signs. And I was like, what are you guys doing? I was always the youngest in the group of kids. And I was like, stop it. What are you doing? You can't, they're telling secrets. You can't do that. And I did not get it. I mean, let's just say I was 8 or 9.
Yeah.
That makes my brother 11 or 12. So even, which I guess is the age that you're talking about. And I don't even think he played Little League or anything, but they still knew to call signs. They still knew at that age, just playing at whatever, at the park with your buddies, you just learned how to do that.
Do you know why?
Do I know why what?
Why did those kids know how to do that?
Because they were taught that?
Probably not.
So how do they know? Is it just something you learn?
Keep guessing.
I don't know.
They watched it on TV.
We did not watch baseball.
Whoever you were playing with, whoever was giving signs.
Somebody learned it from somewhere.
So kids these days, a lot of kids these days do not watch baseball on TV. So a lot of this stuff also comes down to where kids are in this generation. A lot of kids these days, the only baseball that they participate in is when they play with their teams. A lot of them don't watch the game. They don't even know.
They don't even watch highlight YouTube shorts of highlights.
Some of them might, but some kids they can't even name. They here we're in Texas. They might know the Rangers, but that's it.
Right.
They might not know any other teams. Yeah, it's a different generation too when it comes to that. They have way more distractions these days than what we did. Our distraction back then was outside.
Right.
Was doing stuff like
we were not a sports family. I think I played t-ball. Yeah. And, I did some little kid stuff, and then, didn't do anything until junior high when you had the opportunity to play sports again. But my brother didn't really play sports. So we were not a sports family. And then we only ever watched football on TV. And that still, I still don't understand it. But so just, playing with friends outside. You just kind of learn that stuff. Yeah. Okay. Strengths before the scouting report.
All right. So a lot of coaches that do call pitches, if they have a scouting report, right? And you know what a scouting report is?
I guess so. Maybe I don't.
A scouting report is notes on a particular player on the other team, right? So for hitters on the other team, these scouting reports might talk about. It might show where they like to hit the ball, we call that a spray chart. It might have notes on what pitches to strike them out with, what pitches they take.
Are there scouting reports on 10-year-olds?
No, but there are some people out there that they will maybe go watch a game and take some notes. There are some hardcore coaches out there that will do that for sure. Okay. But these scouting reports, and this one may be more on high school or college.
Okay.
There might be some club teams that do somehow find scouting reports. But the point of this bullet point is I'm going to pitch to my strengths. So for example, if it's a 1-1 count and I want him to hit a ground ball to shortstop, I might throw a little slider down and away.
Okay.
But the scouting report shows that this hitter is good on sliders down and away.
Okay.
I'm going to stay with what I feel is my best chance to get that ground ball, even though the scouting report says this hitter handles sliders down and away well, right? So I'm going to pitch to my strength before I look at the hitter strengths, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So not always just because of what the scouting report says means that that's how we have to pitch.
Okay.
Right? A scouting report might say, do not throw first pitch curveballs to this guy, right? So if we have never thrown this guy a first pitch curveball, maybe later in a game, if we've done other things to stay away from that, I might be able to sneak in or drop in a first pitch curveball, whatever. That's just an example. But the point is that I'm going to pitch to what my strengths are before pitching away from my strengths, because that's my strength is also the hitter's strength.
Because that underlying confidence is important. Yep. So let me see, how do I say this? How likely is it more likely that you would throw that pitch where you want it if that's your strength? Is that more or less likely than the hitter who also has that strength is going to hit it? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is that as pitchers, as coaches, as catchers, we always have to remember how hard it is to hit.
Right.
Even though the hitter's strength is a slider down and away, I could throw 10 sliders in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those is he actually going to hit for a base hit?
Yes, that's what I'm like. What are the odds, I guess? Or is it more likely that you're going to hit your spot and he's going to miss? Or would it be more likely that he actually is going to make contact?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking.
Well,
is it more likely that you would get it?
And the higher up, their analytics, their stats may have actual numbers on that. He's hitting, his hot zone is this part of the strike zone, and this type of pitch, he's hitting 400.
Okay.
When he swings at this pitch in this spot, he hits 400.
Okay.
Not many, no youth programs, not many high school programs, maybe some college programs will have that sort of information.
Oh, okay. I think I just meant like generally speaking.
Yeah, so a lot of the stuff is way overthought. We're overthinking it. We're overcomplicating it. Pitch to your strengths, pitchers.
Yeah.
Pitch to your strength. Coaches, teach your kids to pitch to their strength. Teach them to pitch with conviction. Conviction means belief, trust. If I'm all in on this pitch, I fully feel that this is the pitch to throw right now to do what I want to do. That's conviction.
Yeah, that's hard to have.
Yeah. Hang on.
Yeah.
So it's hard to have, especially when the atmosphere, the culture created typically by adults, the coaches, when hits are given up, we second guess everything. To go back to a few bullet points before. If I have the adults around me, if I have my coaches that I look up to that are second guessing me every time I give up a hit, I start to create this sort of doubt around everything. So the atmosphere that I create as a coach, the energy, the words I use towards my players helps them develop that sort of confidence and belief in themselves.
Yeah.
Another reason why I wouldn't call pitches, like if you feel this is your pitch, go for it.
Yeah.
And if you didn't execute the way you want to, let's talk about why you didn't. And let's go from there.
Yeah. Number 7, the hitters are telling you.
Okay, reading batters. So we can read their swing, we can read their stance, we can read their stride direction. There's a lot of things that hitters are doing that are almost like telling us what their approach is and how to get them out, where their holes are. I do have a document out there that talks about a lot of these bullet points, but I'll try to go over it real quick. If a hitter starts back away from the plate, we call that standing off the plate. The typical thought is because they're so far off the plate, we can probably get them out on the outside corner because they're so far away. Right. So that would be the initial thought. But if I watch them take one swing or one load and stride and I see them dive, meaning they stride towards the plate, right? A right-handed batter would kind of stride towards first base. A left-handed batter would stride towards third base. If they do that, they're doing that so they can reach the outside pitch, which also means that now their hole is actually inside. Because of that diving motion, they're going to have a really hard time keeping their hands tight to reach that inside pitch.
Okay.
Now, if I have a hitter that starts close to the plate, the thought is that, okay, they're close. They're going to have a hard time hitting the inside pitch because they're so close to it.
Yeah.
But if I watch their stride foot and I see that they bail or they stride open, they're doing that so they can handle the inside pitch better.
Okay.
So their hole is actually away.
Okay.
Okay. So there's these things that I can do when I study the game and I study hitters. I read their foul balls if they're late. These are the kind of obvious ones. If they're late on a fastball, they're fouling it the other way. They're not on time with me. So I might stay with my fastball. I might stay hard. But if they're early on my fastball, now they're showing me that for some reason, their timing is also off. I'm going to go off speed next. And you can teach kids how to do this. I've done it many times. Some of your kids may be a little bit more savvy than others, but you definitely can teach your pitchers and catchers how to play the game this way.
Just tell them what to look for. It's a little easier to spot. Otherwise, you don't know what you're looking at.
The hard part is that there's not a lot of coaches out there that know this stuff, that know how to teach it. Everybody feels that they're hitting coaches, but very few feel confidence in teaching pitching and catching the same way.
There's just a lot to that.
The funny thing is that the people that feel that way, they also feel that they need to call the pitches. Go figure. But these kids can learn how to play the game that way. They just need to be taught. And when you start teaching them how to see the game in this way from a young age, by the time they become teenagers, it's amazing how smart they can be.
It's that second nature stuff.
Unfortunately, a lot of coaches, they don't have patience for it. They may try to teach it and the kids aren't getting it. So they say, forget it. Let me just do it for you. Yeah, that happens a lot.
I did that when our kids were little. A lot. Yeah, I know. You know that. Okay, a few more. Stuff matters. That's what it says.
Okay, so stuff meaning a pitcher's repertoire.
Stuff.
Their type of pitches they throw.
Yeah.
I was a 3/4 arm slot. Fastball was straight as an arrow. I threw a changeup. You know what my other pitches were. How I'm going to attack hitters is going to be different than a guy that throws at a sidearm or low 3/4 slot and their fastball has sink and they throw a good slider and a changeup that has sink. The way that he approaches hitters is going to be different than how I do.
Right.
A guy that has all that movement, those guys honestly actually have it a little bit easier because they can just throw everything and start it down the middle and just let it work. And they're going to get a ton of outs. For a guy like me, like my fastball was straight as an arrow, I had to be really precise with where I was spotting my pitches.
Okay.
Right. And I use the other stuff to throw them off of my fastball or vice versa. Use my fastball in and out to throw them off the other stuff. But if a coach were to call pitches for me, he would not call pitches the same he would for the sinker ball guy, sinker or slider guy. But a lot of coaches out there who do call pitches, they're calling it the same for everybody. They're calling it based off of a scouting report. And that's what I'm saying. Like, just because a scouting report says this, you're not going to use it the same way for every pitcher.
Yeah. I mean, a fastball's a fastball, but it's also different for each pitcher.
Sure. Yeah. Like my fastball had really
that's how my mind, when you're saying that, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Like
a sinker guy is going to can get a lot of outs down in the zone, whereas I got a lot of outs on high fastballs because I was able to backspin it really well, and I almost had that almost like rising effect. It obviously didn't rise. That's impossible, but it has that spin that gives that effect to the hitters.
So there's no such thing as a riser.
There is for submarine pitchers. Do you know? Yep. So when they throw curveballs from down here.
Oh, I even did that little motion.
Yep, they get like curveball gets backspin.
Okay.
So it like has that effect where it stays up.
I don't remember who it was, of course, but the first time I saw somebody throw like sidearm, I think even just out here, maybe a little bit underneath, I was like, what is that? Yeah. I mean, I had no idea.
It's definitely unique.
I had to like ask you after the game, like, what was he doing?
Yeah.
Was that underhand?
Fast pitch and softball, they also throw risers. So they can throw it like a curveball from underneath and kind of gives that effect.
That was like early on too. I don't remember. They need to work together.
So teaching your pitcher and catcher to play the game together. Communication, talking in the dugout, talking on the field, pitcher calling the catcher out, catcher going out to talk to the pitcher if they're not on the same page. Teaching the kids how to play this game and communicate with each other will help them so much just in life in general.
Right.
Again, when they're sitting there waiting to be told what to do, they're missing out on this.
Because you figure out how to communicate and be effective with your communication. I mean, I think of course, I'm just going to refer to volleyball, your setters and hitters. Like the setter has to set whatever set to whatever position according to that hitter. If your middle is like 6'4", they're going to need their quick set a little bit higher than your 6'1" middle or whatever. And I would imagine it's similar with quarterbacks and receivers.
Yeah.
You got to talk about what you're doing.
But for me as a coach, one of the enjoyable things is forcing kids out of that box, out of that comfort zone and getting them comfortable talking about the game to each other. Whereas a lot of these kids
it gets them thinking.
Yeah, they're just not. And that's the whole point. I mean, we want these kids to use their brain and doing things like calling pitches for them. We're often shutting off their brain. And you hear a lot of coaches say like, well, I tell kids they can shake me off. And then you ask the coach like, well, how often do the kids shake you off? And they're like, rarely. And that rarely because one, they don't want to feel like they're going against their coach. And two, they're probably not thinking the way you think they are because you're doing it all for them.
Yeah. Last one, ownership.
Okay, so
I know this is like a big one for you.
Yeah, accountability, ownership.
Yeah.
If I give up a home run, I got to own it, right? I didn't execute my pitch. No matter what pitch I decided to throw, if I lifted up in the zone too much, if I threw a pitch that I wasn't fully behind, right? Even if my own mind, if I was battling, I'm going to throw this pitch, but maybe I should throw another pitch, like I have to learn to not do that.
Yeah.
So taking ownership in big situations, or I mean, anytime, if I give up a hit, if I give up a run, if I give up a home run, I need to own all of it.
Yeah.
Because of the pitches I threw or didn't throw or the poor execution. And often we hear in these situations where coaches are calling pitches, you hear, well, coach told me to throw that pitch. And that's a super unhealthy attitude to have.
Yeah.
And then we see that carry over into other parts where they're blaming everybody. They blame teammates for making errors. They blame umpires for making what they feel are bad calls. And next thing you know, the ownership is just nowhere. It's
so
invisible.
If you throw whatever pitch you throw, let's say you did throw it right where you wanted to, and they still hit it. Did you not execute the pitch, or did they read you and they just got you?
Yep. Happens. So we call that you tip your hat. The hitter won that time.
And that's also something to be aware of. So, because you can get a little toxic when it comes to taking accountability and kind of go down a negative route of, well, I must have made a mistake, or Yeah,
you got to be careful with ownership and then also like second guessing yourself, right? Because if you do go up a big hit, your mind goes to, I probably should have thrown something else.
Yeah.
Whereas again, it's going to happen. I mean, we give up hits on well executed pitches, and we get strikeouts on pitches where I completely missed my spot.
Right. So you have to know the difference between when you've made a mistake and when they got it.
Yeah. And you got to see that game that way too, of it's like umpires miss a call, but they also give you a call.
Right.
Right. So the game is crazy that way. And again, when you really sit back and you watch it, something will work one moment, but the next moment it won't work. So we have to just be really good at just loving the game for what it is and not taking it so serious all the time, because if I let my emotions hold on to every moment, I'm going to drive myself crazy.
Yeah. Okay. That was all 10.
All right. Thank you. Hopefully. And again, it's a very passionate topic out there, and
we could spend a whole hour talking about it, I'm sure.
I wouldn't choose to call pitches, period. I don't really know.
Is there a big league manager that sits in the dugout and calls pitches?
So, with that said, the Marlins last season, they became the first major league team to experiment and start calling pitches from the dugout. I believe they're doing it again this year, and I believe that one other team started doing it.
The big league team, not...
Big league.
Okay.
Yep, so they started doing the minor leagues, but it's still a majority of big league teams and minor league teams, pitchers and catchers do it.
Is it the manager calling it, or is the pitching coach calling it?
Coach.
Okay, so I wonder if they have a conversation about shaking off, about like... I
don't know.
I just wonder, like...
I can't imagine just the game that I grew up in professional baseball. I can't imagine having a coach do it for me with...
I mean, it is, I guess the pitching coach knows his pitchers, and then obviously there's all the reports on the other hitters. I guess in a way, it could be looked at as a positive, because you've got somebody who isn't the one out there performing, but has like all the information there and can also do some of that thinking. I mean, are two brains better than one? I don't know.
So on that note, I know you wanted to move on, but so there is a lot of information in professional baseball. I think they may have it in some of the college stuff at some levels, not all levels, but I know they for sure don't have all the information at the lower levels, high school and lower. So this information can give you a better idea of how to get hitters out for sure.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's, I wanted to know if a guy was a first pitch swinger, what I could get him out with 2 strikes, what he's going to chase, what I can get him to hit a ground ball with. But besides that, I'm going to pitch to my strengths and I'm going to mix speeds. Like it doesn't, too much information is almost, it's overkill.
Right.
We're way overcomplicating this.
And as starting pitchers, unless you're starting the first game of the series, you might have 2 or 3 games to watch all their hitters and, develop your own strategy, right? Sitting there observing and doing your charts and
Yeah. But again, in the end, you go out there and you pitch with your stuff.
Right.
And for the most part, we're pitching to what our strengths are. We're pitching strategically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if there was a rule that you couldn't call pitches from the dugout?
That'd be awesome.
Because obviously somebody started doing it at some point, and I guess it worked, because then, over time it now everybody does it. So obviously there was never a rule that said you couldn't, right? You can't steal, you can't what's it called? Stealing signs? Mm-hmm. Okay, you can't do that. Is that a rule?
Yeah, so stealing signs, I think what you're referring to, you hear that phrase. It's usually when there's a runner on second.
Right, okay.
And they're looking into the catcher, and then they're relaying signs.
Okay, so is there a rule that says you can't do that?
No.
Oh, there's not a rule.
It's like an unwritten rule a little bit. Like if we catch you doing it, you might pay the price, but...
Wasn't there a big controversy, though, with like the Astros or something?
Oh, so that was...
Isn't there a rule about...
that? Yeah, that was different. So they were going...
I mean, we don't have to get into all that.
They were going in the clubhouse, and on the camera feed, they could see the center field camera that was zoomed in, and they could see what the signs were, and they were somehow relaying it to the dugout. And the dugout would make some sort of noise.
Okay, is that illegal?
Yes.
There is a rule that says you can't
I mean, I don't know if there was like something written in the rule book.
So I'm just
saying you can't do that.
My whole point is that there's not a rule about calling pitches from the dugout.
No.
Maybe there should be.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to get into the season.
But first, we're going to do a little baseball 101.
Okay. I forgot.
That's okay. Okay, so I have a few slang here. You got about...
Don't show me.
8 things. Quick.
Okay. Can't see it anyways.
All right. Baseball 101 with Rachel.
Okay.
Everybody's favorite segment. Okay. Some of these I hope you know. Some of them are simple.
More slang.
This first one we talked about the other day, so you should know it.
Okay.
What does it mean to hit for the cycle?
Oh, one of each. You hit all the things. Single, double, triple, home run.
Okay.
One of each. It's called one of each.
Okay. Do they have to be in order?
No. Do they? No, they don't have to be in order.
Okay. What is a natural cycle?
I don't know.
Hitting it in order.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
That was a tricky one.
Okay. What is an immaculate inning?
9 strikes.
Okay. That's half of it. That's really good.
3 up, 3 down. With all strikeouts.
Man.
Yeah.
See, that's why if we ever do trivia, you're my partner. You just pull stuff out of your butt and you get it right.
That is from years of experience.
You've never heard that phrase.
I have never heard that phrase.
But you got it right.
But what else could it mean?
My gosh. That's impressive. What is a Maddox?
Is this referring to Greg Maddox?
It is.
It's one of his pitches, something that he does,
no,
or he did something.
He did something.
Okay. I don't know what it is, though.
So it has thrown a complete game shutout on 99 or fewer pitches.
Wow, that's
impressive.
It is impressive. Yeah. That deserves to be called that.
The Maddox.
Yeah.
Okay, what does it mean to nibble?
Are we a pitcher or a hitter? A couple strikeouts here and there? I don't know.
So to nibble means that you're trying to work the corners of the strike zone, trying to work the edges.
Okay.
Okay, what is a whiff?
A strike, a swing and miss.
Okay, swing and miss.
Okay.
What is a pitcher's out pitch?
Like the put out pitch? Is that a term? Is that the same? Is it the same thing? Yep. It's your put away pitch. It's your go-to pitch to strike them out. Right?
Genius.
Oh. Not quite.
Genius.
Let me get my crown.
Yeah. Okay. What does it mean to have stone hands?
I don't know. I don't.
Okay. So it's like a fielder who they just keep making bad plays. They keep making errors.
Okay.
In and out of their glove.
Okay.
You should know this one. What does it mean to have a cup of coffee?
You made an appearance in the big leagues.
You were in the big leagues for just a little bit.
Okay.
And the last one, what is a gamer?
I don't know.
What's a gamer?
Give me a hint. See if I can. Does it have to do with a certain position?
No, it has to do with a title, how you can describe a player.
Like he just is, I was going to say he's a baller. He's just like a baddie. Like he can just do it all.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say bad.
He shows up.
Okay.
Right? He or she, they show up. In big moments, they just always seem to be in the middle of it.
Okay.
They're always ready.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Gamer.
Okay. I kept waiting for you to ask me what PFP was, but.
Okay. What's PFP?
Well, pitcher's fielding practice.
Okay.
I didn't tell your students about that because.
It's amazing how many
the amount of kids that don't know that I hear you ask and like, I'm about to raise my hand in the corner over there. I know. Unless maybe they call it something else.
Have we talked about this on here? Have I tested you? Have we talked about the position numbers?
Yes.
Okay. So real quick, go over it again. People need to know.
Okay, I have to point to it in the air so that I don't get it wrong. Okay, so pitcher, catcher.
No, say the numbers.
I will.
Okay.
Pitcher and catcher is 1 and 2.
Okay.
First, second, and third is 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
And then you go back to the shortstop. He's 6.
Okay.
And then you go out to left, center, right is 7, 8, 9. Tell your kids.
I know.
They'll come to Rachel's School of Baseball.
I think I need to make a poster that has just that on it.
Yeah.
Just a field with the positions and the numbers and the names.
Yeah.
That's some serious baseball. That's some baseball 101 stuff.
Did we ever do that in like Little Lions or anything in our little kid classes?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I feel like we may have done a little, okay, go to number 3, like, and test them a little bit and have them run out to where they think it is. But yeah, it should be taught.
Yeah. I mean, it's more for scorekeeping stuff, but still, it's baseball. As a baseball purist, even those little things I feel.
But if you're going to keep score, you need to know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody should know. Okay, let's get into 2005.
2005.
What number season was this? So you started in
so this was my 9th season.
96. Okay, yeah. So this was your 9th season as a professional.
Yes.
Okay, wow.
Okay, we were in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
That was AAA for the Cardinals.
Yep.
Spring training was
and again, just to back up a little bit, this was after your call-up from the previous season, and you'd pitched against the Cardinals as a Rocky.
Yes.
And then the Rockies didn't keep you, but the Cardinals picked you up that off-season for their AAA team.
Yeah. So spring training was down in Florida, and for the life of me, we were talking about this. I should have looked it up, but I cannot remember where it was.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, so I went to Major League Spring Training. You and Christopher were down there and lived. We all lived down there. Did we drive?
I don't know.
Down there, did we rent a car? That's a long drive. That would be a long drive with Christopher. We might have just rented a car.
No.
It's a long drive.
We were talking about this on our walk this morning. So did my dad drive it out too? We had your car. We had the car in Memphis.
Yeah.
So it got out there somehow.
I bet we had just a rental car or something in spring training.
I really just don't remember.
Okay, but we had a little condo really close to the field from what I remember, not too far away.
I don't remember that either.
Yeah. So Major League Spring Training, I don't remember how many innings I had. I probably got in a handful of innings that I think I did okay. All the Major League Spring Training camps that I was in, I think I was in a handful in my career. They were all just okay. I had one that was really good that I didn't really give up any hits, but they were just average innings, nothing really special to really stand out. But did well, that spring training, a quick story from that spring training. I was walking through the clubhouse one day and Pujols had a bunch of hitters in the corner of the clubhouse and he was talking to them about hitting. And as I was walking by, I just stopped and started listening. And he was talking.
Do you remember, were these like younger guys that were also in big league? Okay.
Probably. Maybe some older guys too, but probably, in spring training, there's a lot of players. They bring in guys that aren't on the roster, aren't on the 40-man roster.
And I'm sure there's a ton. I mean, it's work talk.
Yeah.
So you just get into a conversation about work. It just happens to be playing baseball.
His conversation he was talking about pitchers actually throwing inside. Which at that time in my career, that was a huge part of me as a pitcher, was pitching inside. But his message to these guys was like, hey, when pitchers throw inside, not many of them can do it consistently. Like they may come in there every once in a while, but then they're just going to go right back outside.
Yeah.
So most hitters, they want to get extension. They're looking for something out over the plate, preferably up, but they're looking so they can get extended with their arms. And he was saying, if they throw you inside, unless it's 2 strikes, just let it go. Unless it's your strength. But for most, it's not your strength. So just let it go and stay to your approach and look for something out over the plate. And I remember hearing that conversation and thinking about how I approach hitters at that time where I was the opposite. I would throw inside until they showed me that they were going to make an adjustment, and then I would go away. So I think at that time, one of the reasons I was literally standing in that spot was kind of what Albert was talking to all those hitters about, was that a lot of pitchers won't do it. Most pitchers won't do it consistently, and that was who I was at that time. So I thought it was interesting, and probably a reason why it stuck with me was because in a way he was describing how I approach hitters and how there weren't many guys like that.
So it gave you insight into how, generally speaking, according to him, most hitters approach.
Even though he hit the home run he hit off of me was on a fastball up and in. I'm trying to remember.
Maybe he had observed you.
I think there was 2 strikes on him when he hit that home run. I think. So he was being Albert. But anyway, so the rest of that spring training, it was just okay. Went down to minor league camp, did my part, ended up breaking spring training, going to Memphis with the team. They gave me an opening day start. I think it was the opening day starter. But yeah, so I proceeded to have a really strong season, ended up being in the league leaders in a few different categories. I don't know if wins was one of them. Might have been wins for a little bit, but strikeouts, I was in league leaders. ERA was in league leaders, which those then turned into, I got to start the AAA All-Star game, which I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about this, but do you know why I got to start that game?
I don't think so.
So, I mean, obviously I'd earned the opportunity to be in that game, but I wasn't initially slated to be the starter. The starter was going to be Felix Hernandez, who had a great career with the Mariners. Yeah. But right before the All-Star game, he got called up to the big leagues.
Oh.
So for some reason, I was next in line to start the game. So it must have been because of where like the league leaders were at that point. Maybe I was like right behind him in some category. So they just went with me next. But yeah, so him getting called up was the reason I got to start that game. And in the All-Star game, I think I pitched 2 innings. It wasn't anything special. It's actually, I found it on YouTube one day, and it's actually on our YouTube right now. I was able to put it on there, and I just did okay. Gave up a couple hits, gave up a couple runs. Somehow, though, nobody must have done really great because they gave me like MVP of the game, and I didn't do anything special. I think because they put the W next to my name, I got the win, but I didn't do anything worthy of it.
So I wonder if did no other pitcher do anything super special that game?
They must not have. They must not have. But yeah, that was a fun season. Interesting little tidbit about this year. I told you about this morning. I don't think I'd ever told you this story. So most teams, in fact, you could probably say all.
Okay.
All major league starting rotations will use more than 5 starting pitchers throughout a season. You won't see a team that has the 5 guys they start the season with that carry those same 5 starting pitchers all the way through the season, except for 2005 and the Cardinals. And I was having one of the best seasons of my career at that point by far. And the 2 previous seasons before in Colorado Springs were really good too. But again, having another really good season, 3 seasons in a row, they ended up using the same 5 starters all year, except there was one game where they called up a guy who happened to be my roommate in Memphis, or he was my road roommate, Kevin Jarvis, and they called him up to do 1 spot start, meaning that for some reason, I don't know if
who knows,
someone needed a little more time off or something, whatever. They needed one guy to come up, make a start, and then he came back down after that. But they used the same 5 starting pitchers all year. So meaning
everybody was healthy.
They never called anybody up that they needed to start. And I would assume that at some point, if they did, my name would have been in that mix just with how the season was going for me. But again, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Things that I can have no control of. So if I give my attention to it, it's just a distraction. So after this season was when we ended up getting a phone call from my agent about a team in Japan. So the way I look at it is if the Cardinals had called me up at some point,
would have been amazing.
It would have been amazing, but like if they had kept me on the major league roster, on the 40-man roster, I wouldn't have been eligible or have been a free agent to go and sign in Japan. And that, that contract ended up being life-changing. So in the moment, you're one of those things, you're like, why is this happening? Like, I deserve it. Why did it not happen? But looking back on it now, if it did happen, then that wouldn't have happened. Japan wouldn't have happened.
And well, there's also no telling if you would have gotten called up with the Cardinals, how that would have gone. Yeah. Like that also could have been life-changing.
Yeah.
I mean, that was obviously the dream, was to get not only called up, but like have that longer big league career. But yeah, we both believe everything happens for a reason and how it's meant to. And, I mean, when else would we have gone to Japan 2 different times?
Probably never. And I now I hope to go back someday.
Right. But it never would have occurred to us to go.
Never would have thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to go over your stats?
Sure. Let's talk about stats, and then we're going to talk about Zachary.
Okay. Your win-loss was 8-8. You had a 3.54 ERA. 23 starts.
Mm-hmm.
You pitched 137 innings. You had 134 hits, 36 walks, 123 strikeouts, and a 1.23 ERA or WHIP. Excuse me.
So 23 starts. The typical, if you start every 5 days, or if you're in rotation for a whole season, it's usually with 27 or 28 starts. So if I had 23, that makes me believe, and now that I'm thinking about it, I think I was on the DL a little bit that season.
Did you have some tendonitis?
I think I had a little bit of shoulder tendonitis that I dealt with. I think in the off season before this year, I think I went down and pitched in Mexico.
Is that when you went?
I think so, because the manager I had was my AAA manager. The manager I had in Mexico was the guy who was my AAA manager in
Memphis.
Colorado Springs.
Oh, Colorado Springs.
The year before. So I went and pitched for him in Mexico for a month. So I didn't really have a full off season. So I was trying to think of why did I end up having some shoulder tendonitis? Which shoulder tendonitis, that is usually like a fatigue thing, like something, So I probably didn't have a full off season, which kind of led to that period of fatigue months later.
Okay.
That's where I was trying to figure out why did I end up coming down with that. But 23 starts, so that means I probably missed about 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks on the DL. If I only made 23 starts when it should have been 27 or 28.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Keep reading the numbers. Sorry.
137 innings, 134 hits, 36 walks, 123 strikeouts. Oh, your strikeouts, 123, 123. Your WHIP is 1.23. That's a funny coincidence.
So how many walks? 36?
Yes.
And 123. 23 strikeouts.
Yeah.
So that's close to that 4-to-1 ratio that we've talked about. And again, that whole really paying attention to walking batters is something that I just wasn't taught, didn't understand enough early in my career, how impactful minimizing walks is to everything, to arm health, to throwing less pitches per inning. Less pitches per inning means getting to pitch more innings, all of it.
So walks aren't just what happens when the pitcher misses his spot 4 times.
Well, I mean, you throw 4 balls, that leads to a walk.
Well, I know that, but that's probably just simplifying it. It's not, Keep going. I'll think of what I'm trying to say.
Okay. But walking batters, once I really figure out how to cut back on walks, was when everything in my career changed. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And, probably started a little bit with some confidence. I know we talked about going to pitching only from the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
But once I just really got better command of the baseball and started throwing more of my pitches in the zone more often, stopped doing that nibbling thing that we were talking about, started challenging hitters more, everything really started to fall into place. And minimizing the walks, I really feel, was one of the biggest pieces to my career, changing to being on an upswing versus a roller coaster.
I think what I'm trying to say is the pitcher didn't just decide not to swing and you missed your spot, so it's a walk and you're trying not to get 4. You started, like you said, being more strategic with your placement, I guess, and challenging the hitters more to actually swing, right?
Yeah.
Because you're either trying to get them to swing and miss or make contact so your fielders can...
Rarely was I trying to get them to swing and miss.
Okay.
There's only 2 counts, 0-2, 1-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Those are my strikeout counts. Those are the counts that I'm going to go for a put away type pitch. Other than that, I'm trying to execute pitches to induce contact, to get them to preferably hit something weakly, but put the ball in play. I'm not on an 0-0 pitch. I'm not throwing away from contact. I want them to swing at the first pitch. If I know a guy is going to swing at the first pitch, or this guy's a big time first pitch swinger, I'm not shying away from it. I want to use that aggressiveness to my advantage, because if I can get an out on one pitch, amazing. If he gets a hit, so be it. Now I got a chance to get 2 outs on the next pitch. I'm just going to go for a double play ball. When my approach really started changing to trying to get the hitter to do what I want them to do more often versus me just trying to be nasty with every pitch, that was when things just really started falling into place. I wasn't ever scared of the hitter hitting the ball. I wasn't afraid of what could go wrong. I was more focused on, I'm going to get the hitter to do this, period.
Yeah. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you're trying to get the hitter to do a certain thing, not just avoid throwing a ball.
Yeah. So like if you talk to a lot of young pitchers, and I was a young pitcher up into my career a few years before this.
Yeah.
You ask pitchers, what is your job as a pitcher? And they'll say to strike batters out.
Right. To throw strikes, to strike them out.
So that implies like you don't want them to hit it.
Yeah.
So that, and with that don't let them hit it approach comes with trying to be picky on the corners, trying to throw pitches away from contact, trying to throw everything nasty. You know, like I'm trying to strike everybody out. You can't strike them out until you get 2 strikes. But you got young, hard throwers that are throwing put away pitches on an 0-0 pitch. Like you're trying to strike them out with the first pitch of the at-bat. And then with that comes over-aggression, which comes, you lack feel, you start missing locations.
Maybe what I'm trying to say is you shouldn't approach your pitching trying to avoid throwing a ball.
Yeah.
Like, which, I mean.
You're talking about pitching away from contact. You're talking about pitching to get them to miss it versus pitching to get them to hit it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me what I was thinking. No, I just could not get there. I feel like it's a mindset thing. Your mindset switched to, no, I'm going to make them do something with this.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I'm going to try to get that little corner, which probably for kids more often is a ball.
Yeah.
And then you've got like a walkathon and, you know.
For example, if there was a runner on first and I needed a ground ball, like I wanted the next hitter to hit the first pitch to shortstop.
Right.
Or second base or somewhere, hit the ball on the ground somewhere so we can get a double play.
Right.
So
which would be a success for you getting them to do what you wanted them to do, not a failure because they hit.
Yeah. And I think a few years before this, Bob McClure, Mac, he taught us to think about what our ground ball pitches were. With the pitches that we throw, what location and what type of pitch do you feel you can get a ground ball with more often than not?
Mm-hmm.
So in those situations, and to be honest, most of the pitches we throw, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get a ground ball.
Yeah.
So if a guy got a hit, he got a single, he's on first base, the next batter that comes up, I'm trying to get a ground ball. So my mind goes to, what do I feel most confident right now throwing to get that ground ball?
Yeah.
Often for me, it was a little cutter down and away, but like that's what we need to teach. That's one of the things we want to teach pitchers how to think. You know, like
so your approach or your opinion is to pitch to contact.
Absolutely.
And not pitch away from contact.
Absolutely.
Do you think more youth/amateur coaches coach to pitch away from contact?
I don't know if the coaches
or maybe it's an unconscious thing.
I don't know if the coaches coach that way. More of the kids think that way.
Okay.
Just because they think that, the strikeout.
I don't want them to hit it.
Yeah, the strikeout is everything. Yeah.
Okay.
And unfortunately, in the youth game, there are so many errors made.
See, that's what I would do if I was a pitcher. I would pitch it. I don't want them to hit it.
Yeah.
I want to get them out there.
And and to be honest,
as an amateur,
sometimes kids fall in that trap because it's like every time the ball's hit, their fielders have struggled to field it.
Yeah.
So I do understand where that thought process comes from.
But that's how those fielders learn too.
I know. Okay. This is all a part of the youth game. We've talked about it. Every kid out there is an amateur.
Yeah.
The kids are amateurs. The coaches are amateurs. The umpires are. The parents are. Like everybody out there is learning the game.
Yeah.
And that's why parents tend to get more quiet as their kids get older, because they also get smarter about the game.
They've learned that a base hit is not the end of the world.
Yeah. So
I hijacked that whole thing about my pitch away. Sorry.
That's fine.
Took me like 5 minutes to get there.
So let's talk a little bit about Zachary.
Okay. So we had...
Zachary is our middle child, by the way.
Zachary is our middle child, our second born. He just turned 21, which is wild. He was born in August of 2005, which means I was pregnant in Memphis during the summer. It was very hot.
So was that when...
It was very hot.
Did you come to Las Vegas with us? Because I remember in Vegas that you came to Vegas at some point.
This is where both of our memories go blank. So we were in Florida with you for spring training. Don't know how we got to Memphis. I want to say we drove. I want to say the coaches, like, if you had your car in spring training, you could drive, but you had to get there, within whatever. We had our apartment set up. We were the only ones that lived in that complex. So it was a little bit lonely. We had doesn't matter what our apartment was like. Christopher slept in a pack and play in the other room, and we drove you to the field every day, went to the games every day. I was a nice stadium. There were other girlfriends and wives there, so that was nice. We all sat together as a group. And I was telling you this earlier, the concourse went all the way around the outfield. You could make a complete loop. And so having a little one, a year and a half, let's say 2 years old, Christopher didn't want to do anything but run. So we walked that thing like a track. And I remember, I think even one of the other gals or one or two of them let me sit down at one point and walked with them. And it was just oh, thank God. Because I was visibly pregnant, but obviously not at the end of the pregnancy. And then when you pitched in the All-Star game that was in Sacramento, we went to that, but I remember flying out of Portland and back to Portland for that. Because it was so at some point, he and I had gone back to Vancouver.
So if Zachary was born in early August, the All-Star game was probably in June or July. So you probably went home for the end of the pregnancy.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you guys played in Vegas at some point in July, and I flew out for a little weekend vacation before giving birth. So one more little weekend where it was just us. And that was hot.
So hot.
It was hot. And I was pregnant out to here. 8 months pregnant.
I think that
it was hot.
Didn't someone came and brought you up to one of the press box or something?
I remember maybe it was a day game. The stands were empty. It was just not, there were just not very many people there. I just found a place that was was there an overhang or something? There was a lot of shade. But still hot outside, and I was sitting there. And I do remember somebody invited me up to some enclosed air-conditioned area. It wasn't a suite or anything like that, but maybe it was some club. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But I must have looked miserable if some random person just approached me. I think it was probably a lady. And I just was oh, yes, please. It was just so hot.
For people that haven't been to Vegas in the summer.
And I had never been to Vegas in the summer. I had only ever been to Vegas when we drove down for the very first spring training and the beginning of our relationship. And that was not in the summer. And we did not go to Vegas to party or anything. You were there playing and I went to visit you, but it's not what are you going to do 8 months pregnant?
So it's so hot there. I remember doing conditioning before the game out in the outfield and running, and I could feel the heat on my eyeballs.
Was it a turf field or no?
No.
It was grass, but it was still just
And by the way, so that stadium, they've completely rebuilt it. It's state of the art, beautiful stadium.
I'm sure they all are now.
Yeah.
And then we did schedule to be induced. Our thinking was probably, let's schedule it a week before I'm due. But if he were to come earlier, we were just going to let it ride. And so I want to say you came home the day before. We went to the hospital early that next morning, did all the things, and then ended up with a C-section. And I don't know if that had any weight on your length of stay, because I know after a C-section, you stay in the hospital longer than just a regular,
I doubt it.
Event-free. How long were you home?
Just a few days.
2 or 3 days. Yeah, I do remember my mom came after you left. My mom came and stayed with me overnight. Gosh, you must have left right away, because I remember waking up in the middle of the night one night and I had the shakes and I had cold sweats. And I think it was the anesthesia just working its way out of my system. But I remember my whole body was I was on a vibration plate or something. And I think I walked out, was Mom, what is happening? And it went away. It was nothing serious, but you had already left. And, so I had Christopher on one side of me in the bed and Zachary with me. I had pillows, the blankets folded under the pillows so nobody fell off the bed. And I just remember doing anything and everything I could to sleep, to get as much sleep as I possibly could, because Christopher at that point was still waking up for one reason or another in the night. And then you came home at the end of the season, I guess.
I think, I don't remember if we made the playoffs that season. We might have. But anyway, so that was I had a really good season.
Yeah.
We got to welcome our second child. A lot of excitement. And then that off season, we got a phone call from Japan, and we'll talk about that in the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. That 2005, long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
21
years ago.
1 year ago. Yeah.
It's funny, all the things that we can remember, and then some of the things that we can't remember, how did our car get from one side of the country to the other side of the country, and just, our parents.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is our parents helped and somehow made something.
And we're adults and we don't remember that stuff. So we're talking about kids and how, they're not going to remember any of these games that they play.
Yeah.
None of them. They can remember what they had for breakfast this morning.
Right. Exactly.